morning. Good morning. It is 3:08 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym right now. When you start to, I'm going to tell you things that I do, I evaluate. I'm constantly evaluating my life. I'm constantly evaluating myself more than anything else, because I know that in order for things to change around me, things have to change within me. There's more power inside of me than there is outside of me. So when my evaluation takes place, I'm looking at that. And I was taught to believe that you never know truly what goes on behind closed doors of a man and a woman's relationship. And I remember this older gentleman telling me you should never get involved between a husband and a wife when they're arguing and fighting, because at the end of the day, you don't know really what's going on, because the doors are shut, there's things that are happening, and you are only seeing what they want you to see or hearing only what they want you to hear, but you don't really know enough to get involved, to engage. And the same thing holds true for admiring or looking up to great men and great women when you're trying to create a blueprint for success, because you don't know. On the surface they're this, but deep down, what's their flaws? Deep down, what's holding them back? Deep down, what's really going on? Deep down, what kind of men are they? What kind of men are they to God? What kind of men are to their families? How do they show up? You don't know everything. Only they know everything about them. So you have to follow more of a spiritual guide. And the spiritual guide has pillars that create success. One of the pillars is self-discipline. The other pillar would be service to others. The other discipline could be, whatever the makeup of these disciplines may be, they're universal. I mean, it's one size fits all. If everybody and anybody could implement these different necessary tools, they could achieve levels of success that they've never dreamed possible. They could achieve levels of godliness, lowercase g, that they never thought possible. So as I'm doing my evaluation, I'm not doing the evaluation based on what I see in other people. I'm doing them based on what I see in myself and what I know is required of me. So I started doing the evaluation this morning. I said, well, how are you doing with your workout? You good? How's the body? Good. I started thinking about how's family. Family is good. You're working it in the direction that you know it was placed in your heart to work it in. Meaning trying to bring some resemblance of unity, togetherness, and working to tighten that up. But as I start delving into the different levels of what it is that I'm checking for, I come across a couple things that I know aren't necessarily in alignment with greatness. So I make them a part of my prayer. The strength to abstain, the strength to do the right thing, the strength to rise up. Because if you already know how to do something really well, if you're great at doing something, you don't need to pray in that area. You need to pray in the areas of where you're weaker, where you're coming up short. And you need to make those requests known, so that way you can get the proper aid. what you need to help strengthen you through your shortcomings. Everybody's is different. But if you ever want to reach that level of self-perpetuating success, it's important that you have your pillars in line. I was listening to something, I'll be honest, I don't even remember. It was very short. But it said that there was some things there was 3 or 4 things that you needed to do in order to hit levels of euphoria. And when I heard them, I knew they were true. I knew they had, because they were actually directly in line with Jesus and when he was in the desert. And I knew that I wasn't at those levels. I wasn't at those parts of self-discipline or self-awareness. And that's fine. I'm not worried about not being somewhere. I'm more worried about not knowing that I need to be there. You know, becoming aware of an issue, or becoming aware that there's a problem, or becoming aware that a change needs to be made is way different than being unaware that there's any problem or any change that needs to take place. That's denial. You don't want to be in denial. You want to be in awareness, even if you're not there yet. Even if you haven't completely come full circle, even if you have not completely come to yourself, which is a passage from the prodigal son. Sustaining true levels of bliss. Come with letting go of things that are not of the spirit that's within you. You have to let go. So my prayer this morning was to let go. As soon as I finish praying, I go in my bathroom, and I'm one of these people. I can keep track of something as long as I can keep track of it and how many days I've been successfully abstaining, and how many days I've been successfully on the path of right. Then I'm a competitive individual, so I'll always try to beat that number, even if I fall short. God gives me the willpower to push forward each and every day, but I fall short. Yes, with my sugar challenge, you know, I would go 2 days without sugar, and then I would relapse. Then sometimes I go 2 weeks and relapse. Sometimes I go 45 days, relapse. But I would always keep trying. God puts a competitive spirit inside of all of us, and sometimes we have to compete with our own greatness, our own personal best is the leveling stick. You know, even in my business, how much did I do last year? All right, can we beat that? At the gym, how much did I lift last month? Can we beat that? How much did we give in tithes? Can we beat that? When you come to yourself, there'll be a realization and an awakening that will say, I can do and be anything if I have the right tools right skill set, the correct way of thinking, in line, I can do anything. I just have to believe.